When it comes to this brush right here, I want you to be confident in how to use it. Since this is a brush that I recommend for everyone who's starting out with Saint, I do like to make a couple different recommendations as well, but this one is the main one that I would love for you to use. This is how you use it, and if you have any questions past this, make sure to let me know. I choose this brush over the 3D brush because this one is easier to control when you're new. When you're not familiar with a cream foundation, it's easy to get too much. And when you use the 3D brush, that is definitely something that can happen. The reason I have done that is because it can take care of a highlight with a contour for your bronzer, for any of your blushes. I'm gonna walk you through how we use it. Contouring, you're gonna come in here and you can, I like to stipple, some people sweep. I like to stipple so that my nice skincare can stay perfectly and use a teeny tiny bit. That is even more than what you need to use. I want you to notice how tiny bit of that contour is on there, okay? When I use this brush and I go into it, everybody thinks you have to have a lot of makeup show on your brushes, and that's where we're going wrong. You don't need a lot. If you have so much on your brush, you should barely even be able to tell. That right there is even more than you need. Again, it is minimal products. We don't need to have it to the point that you have a lot of color on the brush. See how soft that is? And it's getting in place. We don't need to have a lot of color show up. And as I blend that out, it's going to take over the cheek with as minimal as needed. With the contour, we are going to sweep out the product, and with our highlight colors, let's pretend this is one right here, we're going to stipple out the products. With our blushes, we're going to stipple or sweep depending if they're a satin or a gloss. Contour's on, illuminator, so I'm just tapping in on this side. Look how little amount is there, and I'm going to stipple that on for a glow if you choose to use an illuminator. All right, mine are obviously in two different palettes right now from what I was showing, but color corrector, I'm gonna come in here so ever softly with just a little bit on the tip of the brush. I'm gonna go in to the areas marked in white on the color match packet. If you have had a color match from me, and I'm stippling these in instead of sweeping. Some areas, if like, you'll see that I will sweep in some, but I'm just taking care of my darker points first. Now I'm gonna go in with my main foundation color. This is one that, again, I stipple out and I just sweep. When I apply my highlight color, again, we're just bringing it in here. It's a good press, but not too hard. And we are hitting the exact area that I want to have the most coverage first. But if you do that to an under eye, you're gonna run into problems. If you do that to an area that bothers you right in here, you again just wanna hit those areas. You can go slower than I'm slowing, but really rhythmic and back up on top of each other than random pops. The only time you do a random pop is if you're balancing out and evening out a color. With a cream, it's a great opportunity to even mix. So I'm gonna do a dab of my brightener and a dab of my main and come along here in sweeps, because this area doesn't matter so much if I create a glow or have a glow, but also it's one that I don't have any areas that have issues. If I did, I would wanna make sure I keep with a stipple. And my brightener, I'm gonna come in here with just the smallest, and I'm going to pop it onto the bridge of my nose to brighten, and the exterior in places that doesn't have a lot, and then bridge the gap in between. So here, again, super soft pop into it, and then bridge all stipples the gap in between, not right under the eye. On this side of the brush, this is where I add bronzer to my neck with the big end, and I add bronzer to the cheek with the big end, add bronzer to the forehead with the big end, and then with the big end, I do blush, and then I finish it off by connecting everything together. As long as I know there's no extra blush because I didn't overdo it, and I work in stipples to connect everything together to finish it off. It really feels like we should have a lot more color on the brush than it needs to be. But one of the biggest things with the cream is knowing that the contour and the highlight, they're all gonna have a little bit different consistency. And that's with a purpose. That is something that I personally look forward to and look for within makeup. but you will get in a habit with how hard you press with each, but it truly is far less than you think. And if that's something that you struggle at and you'd rather take a piece and put it right in your most important parts and stipple from there, but even with that, I have people using way more than's even needed for that. It really is a little bit, goes a long way. But when you first tap into that and you look, it will look like something is hardly on your brush, but I promise there's more than you think. So as you try this on yourself, if you have any issues, you can always reach out to me for brush help. The biggest thing with a cream foundation is, one, you're not used to it. So you do have to get used to the consistency and the press point within it. But once you get through that initial part, it makes such a huge difference. Again, everybody's face is so different. You can use these brushes differently too, but working in less is more in stipples with the amount that we have on the brush, you can always add more later. In the color match packet, I will include this brush, the 3D brush, and the spot brush. If somebody can only buy one brush, this is the one I recommend. The thing that I love about having both the 3D brush with this brush is if you do have areas that's easier to hit because you do have a bigger size face, then you can go in between the two. But you'll notice that I did use a lot of sweeping where I did not have any troublesome areas, but this area right here, I like it when we can work in stipples because it allows your skincare to keep that nice glow within the skin. I hope this video can break it down with how you can use your blend brush. If you have any questions, you can always reach out, but this is something that can definitely change your makeup application because as we know with a cream makeup, it's a different consistency, and this is going to help you out to further your cream foundation and how you can apply it better on your skin.